I wasn't Baba Jagede.
No,
Wow.
It was figure stitches.
Oh, nice. Fine. How you doing, work? Anything interesting happening?
Nothing. I don't want to complain about stress because I wanted to greet the SP that greeted me on the show yesterday.
Oh yeah, you watched. I told him that
I was watching, So thank you so
SP
much.
Ajayi.
And good morning, sir. SP Ajayi.
Yes, he really wanted to speak to you.
And I'm glad you wanted to speak to me.
Nima Akpele, you're stressed out today, this morning.
Okay, well, they say it's not a full-time career to be a Nigerian. So Tini Abim's post about someone, so what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a Nigerian. It's a full-time job. And I think that's my reality. You know, I couldn't come out of my community this morning and get into my auto. I still couldn't take the Apapa Woro-Shoki Expressway to work. Just was stressful starting my day at 6 a.m. like that. I hope that this is beyond the governor now, no peng. Please help our people to talk to your people to line up on one side and control traffic so we can just pass by you. We can coexist. We're not pushing you guys again.
Just us choosing to do the right thing, really. Just Nigerians.
The career, there's Nigerian and then there's Lagosian. Two different ones.
And I'm both.
Yes, you're both.
How you doing, Mariam?
I'm fine. I was just realizing that, man, our generation is old, though. We are very old. We don't know anything. Yesterday, I was watching on TV, music came on, and I noticed it comes on every time, you know, in between programs. And I was like, I really like this song. My husband was like, this is a really nice song. Who did it? I don't know. I just took my phone and stood in front of the TV. Boom! The name of the person, the song, everything just came out. I was like, whoa. Man, I mean, these are the things that happen.
Yeah, right.
I'm just
Shazam.
What's Shazam?
Even me, I know about Shazam.
I don't know.
I don't know. Please,
when you hear music, if you have the app, just press it.
I don't have any app. I don't have any app. I just took my phone, stood in front of the thing. The thing now started showing chi on my phone. Next, I just saw her name. All the songs, everywhere. Google, Amazon, everywhere. I'm like, whoa, this new world.
Wow.
I mean, they
White is much younger.
Yeah, she must be. But I was just so amazed that, you know what this means for our own children and our generation, that they have so much power. Our children can begin to do so much more at this age than we could have ever imagined.
Information at their fingertips.
Yeah, at their fingertips.
Totally.
So powerful.
You know, because one of the things I Googled yesterday was who built the refineries in Nigeria, and it was Gawan, actually, that built the, I was thinking it was the Obasanjo military regime, but it was actually Gawan that built the refineries. So,
all right.
Information, that's information at your fingertips.
Exactly. Well, I'm off to the PPP event of the Ministry of Education. As I mentioned it yesterday. It's going to be at Eco Hotel. What they do is that the Ministry of Education speaks to partners, those who are interested, have ideas, how to improve the educational sector. The government always tries quarterly to have a meeting where they engage stakeholders, you know, private sector to come and tell us ideas, we rub minds together. And then there's always a communique on, okay, this is what we've agreed. These are the partners we can work with. It's always a good outing. So I'm pretty excited to go there today.
Tell them about the shaving of girls' hair.
Okay, all right.
That one is very important.
We should stop
Our girls are not boys, they are girls.
So we should review it. Okay. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we look at the top stories of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Stay tuned. Your View.
Thanks for staying with us, starting with the punch today. 20 senators set to dump APC, party's majority under threat. 23 children, 143 other stranded Nigerians returned from Libya. Lagos Ekiti men bagged life imprisonment for raping minors. Owo, Kaduna Church attacks politically motivated cis presidency. FG shares 56.8 billion naira to states for teachers training. Flood sweeps away plain Ondo people, police launch search. Brave Ondo man fights robber attempting to rape his wife and grabs his gun. Telcos shake off SIM NIN losers, recover 16 million subscribers. NAFDAC workers begin strike over allowances. Senate moves to resolve Supreme Court's crisis. NBA demands accountability. Support for Obi, like hashtag NSAS movement, says Victor Ume. All right, which story are we taking?
Okay, the returnees, the picture story in the
picture story, yeah.
picture. So 166 Nigerians have returned. Amongst them are 23 children from Libya. And the Lagos State Territorial Office Coordinator of NEMA, Ibrahim Fariloye, was speaking on behalf of the Director General of NEMA, and he was just, admonishing them that leaving the country in search of greener pastures where they don't exist, is a serious mistake, talking about the routes that they're using to migrate, these illegal routes and all the dangers involved. Just the general same narrative around it. I just hope that people are listening, and that people are questioning, because some people find their ways there unknowingly. They end up there without understanding properly. So it's important to question when these agents or supposed what they call migration agents that know whatever about passport, visa agents, yes. When they come to you about certain things and about telling you to change your names, once those kind of gray areas start to pop up, know that you're in trouble before you go.
Yes. Okay. The robber that he entered the house in the middle of the night. The police had displayed all of them at the station. And what had happened was he had climbed into the house with a gun and then robbed them of their...
You're talking about the Brave Undo man?
Yes.
Which one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the Brave Undo man, sorry. And he had started... He took everything from them, and then he started to rape the wife. So the man, I think that's where his head just turned. He just jumped on him, attacked him, took his gun, and then the neighbors came and helped him. And then they took the guy to the police station. They have arrested his mother also, because she helps him keep the stolen goods.
Can you imagine that? Anyway, in Lagos State, a man has been sentenced to life imprisonment for defiling a 15-year-old girl. He did this in 2017. And thankfully, he's gone through the court process and he's been locked up for life. In Ekiti State, another person, a 50-year-old man, Usman Tajuddin, has also bagged life imprisonment for raping a 4-year-old girl. Very sad story. So they live like in a compound scenario. The mother said she noticed one day when her child went to use the toilet, and when she was cleaning her up, she noticed blood in her waist. And she checked her and noticed that she was bleeding. She asked the child what happened. She said, this man always asked me to sit on his lap, and then he uses his pee thing into mine. And that was how they were able to report the case. And thankfully, too, Ekiti State did the right thing, and he's been locked up for life as well.
No, that you can't. Ekiti is not taking this in
Yes, and also Lagos. Yes.
Lagos. I was going to take the story on NAFDAC. So the workers in NAFDAC and alongside the members of the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria have decided to go on a strike. Initially, they thought it was just Lagos. The Union Secretary, Mr. Ayodeji Adetoboye, was saying that it's actually nationwide. They initially thought it was just the southwest states and Lagos. But Abuja offices didn't get the notification on time. But now they're saying that amongst a few things that they are demanding is the payment of the prolonged inaction, prolonged promotion arrears from 2018. That goes back to integrity. You promote people, the promotion amount, you don't give the difference. You don't give it to them. So they're only promoted on paper for arrears for 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021. Additional allowances was also discussed. There is concerns on the issue of GMP inspection and training. Quite a few things, and they're saying that the strike is effective immediately. So that's NAFDAC, and NAFDAC is another important agency for us.
Please.
For our drugs and all that. Okay, let's move on quickly now to the nation. APC moves to prevent defection of 18 senators. Picture here of Mary Dauda. Says our escape from Boko Haram captivity after 8 years as insurgents' wives by Chibok girls. Buhari in Rwanda for Chogum. Investors staked 1.5 trillion naira on equities in 5 months. Ibman backs down on petrol pump price. Ngige Asu raised hope on varsities reopening. Abductors behead ex-Anambra lawmaker after collecting 15 million naira. And Buhari attacks on churches plot to instigate religious crisis. Okay, which story are we starting with? Okay,
so in Plateau State, bandits have abducted a traditional ruler. He's the monarch of Panyam in Mongu Council, Da Aminu Deron. He is the 5th traditional ruler to be abducted in the last 6 months from Plateau State. The people have said that, the spokesperson for them have said that they are still trying to negotiate with the kidnappers to see if they could reduce the amount for the ransom or maybe release him on compassionate ground. The police spokesperson have confirmed that this incident happened and they're doing all their best to find the abductors and free the monarch. I mean, to hear that this is the fifth abduction of a traditional ruler in 6 months from the same state. In Anambra State, a former member of the State of Assembly, Nelson Achukwu, was murdered by the gunmen that abducted him. They had asked for a ransom. The family was able to put together 15 million naira, paid for this man. He was abducted in June the 9th. And June 21st, they found him, that he was already murdered by them, and they quickly buried him. Really sad.
Beheaded.
Yes, he was beheaded. Yes.
Nima, are you taking the Chibok story?
Yes, I want to take the Chibok story. So, two girls from the Chibok girls kidnapped in 2014 have escaped, and the nation interviewed them on how they found their ways out of the captivity of the Boko Haram insurgents. So they, according to one of them, Mary was able to get the permission of the Amir of the camp where she was kept. And, you know, her husband supposedly to visit another captive in another camp in somewhere else within Sambisa forest there. And she was able to get a way to escape with the help of an old man who helped her to get free. But Awa, on the other hand, said the Nigerian army efforts on June 12 to clear Boko Haram captive camps within Sambisa was how she was able to escape. So rather than follow the terrorists where they were hiding women, she took a different route and was able to find her way. Even though she was accosted, she kept, trying, and she was able to escape. Nigerian army said that they've been doing everything possible, and it was their efforts that, got these two girls out. But the sad thing is that 8 years after, Mary is now 26 years old, and Awa is 24, and now women are mothers. Awa was able to come out with her child. She came out with
I think they both came out with their children.
Their children, yes. That's
another thing is that she actually ran into the hands of the soldiers. Soldiers questioned her because they first thought she was a suicide bomber. And she managed to tell them that, look, I'm from Chibok. They've now checked the records and seen that, yes, amongst the lists of...
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with the review. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Everybody knows, say, I be real person, even for my acting. Now, original, not be fake. Enjoy, my people. As now they see me so, I know they joke with anything where they bring rich flavor, totori nutrition, and great taste. Like my Checkers custard make 3-in-1. The Totorica, Banga, and rich custard. Checkers custard quality sure. My family, they know they take and play.
Can someone get these two out of my set now?
Good thing good, I beg. I no go lie. This na custard.
Checkers.
Na custard
Be that.
All I do is win. I wake up, I win. I close my eyes, and I win.
We got an emergency, girlfriend.
Keep up on me, come on, let's go. I love my curves and the skin I'm in. Switch it up, turn it around, take it up again. Come on, let's go. Keep winning till the world stops spinning. Independent women, come on, I
You look great. Did you just come from the salon?
Darling Superstar. Braids that stay salon fresh no matter what.
Nivea Natural Fairness is now Nivea Perfect and Radiant. Reveal your skin's natural radiance with Nivea Perfect and Radiant, enriched with berry extracts and UV filters. To reduce dark spots and even out your skin tone. For radiant and even toned skin. Say hello again to Nivea Perfect and Radiant Body Lotion. Try the full Nivea Perfect and Radiant range to unlock your most radiant self.
Jumia, celebrating 10 years with you.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the papers. So with Nation, I was going to take the major headline. APC moves to prevent defection of 18 senators. So as many of you know, we have about 62 senators in PDP, 62 senators in APC. PDP has 39, NNPP has 3, amongst others. Now, 18 of APC senators are threatening to pull out. And they have expressed their grievances, saying that how the primaries was conducted altercation of delegates list by the governors during the last primaries. They also complained of the hijack of party primaries by the APC governors, the non-return of experienced, hardworking, committed senators. There are quite a number of grievances, and the chairman of the APC is trying to see what they can do to have a meeting with them to address their grievances, because if they actually lose these 18 senators, they might become a minority within the House and to affect the numbers in the House. So they're working hard to see if they can retain this 18. But Adamu said, listen, we can't stop anybody from pulling out, but the best we can do is appeal to them.
And he says that, yeah, other people are pulling out in other parties, but because APC is the ruling party, that's why people are putting eye on APC.
Okay, didn't say like that.
He said it.
Okay, let's move on to the Daily Sun. Voter registration, INEC vows extends exercise by 60 days. Yippee. Defections APC panics begs lawmakers. US, UK, others won't ban IPOP, Ohaneze tells Buhari. Gunmen behead ex-Anambra lawmaker. Subsidy to hit 6 trillion by year end, says Ipman. 2023, Wike Obi Mohammed meet in Port Harcourt. ASU strike will end soon, says federal government. Ekiti governor-elect Oyebanji deputy receives certificates of return. And picture here of Ekiti First Lady, Irelu Bisi, Fayemi, and others doing the presentation of certificates of return by the governor-elect. Okay.
Yes, so the extension for the continuous voters registration. So the INEC is considering to look at the extension. That's according to the Sun.
They're considering, or they have already agreed?
Said consider. So I'm going to take it here. It says that the Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Electoral Matters, Aisha Duku, she disclosed this yesterday. She said, following the resolution of the House requested extension for CVR by 60 days, we met with INEC on Tuesday to brainstorm, and they are considering it, but they may not also make it 60 days. This according to the Sun. And then there's another lawmaker, the minority leader of the House, Undu Illumini, expressed concerns over the, has said that there are indications that the INEC was not willing to comply with the resolution of the House. Anyways, so even though in many papers we've heard that they have agreed to the extension, from this paper is saying that they are considering. But Serap also thinks they have agreed to that, but they are saying that even with the agreement to the 60-day extension, for them it's not enough. That there are so many other things that INEC is not complying with, that's with the Electoral Act, and they will meet in court for that. And so they said that, you know, it just seems very archaic and outdated that in this technological age that you're stopping or stopping registration for election 5 months to the time. That it's important that this is an ongoing thing. So we'll hear what happens when they go to court. But INEC is also giving us some numbers. It says over 8 million potential voters registered between June 28, 2021 and June 20th. And they also said that...
all of them.
Well, good. And they also said that the states that recorded the highest registrars are Delta State, Osun State, Bayelsa, Rivers, and Lagos State, while the states with the lowest number of registrants are Imo State, the FCT, Yobe State, Enugu, and Ekiti.
Okay,
Interesting.
So this,
we like the numbers. Yeah, that skips.
Okay, the Anambra State Police Command has confirmed that the headless body that they found between the Utu and Ukpo community in Anambra State is that of the former member of the State House of Assembly, Nelson Achukwu, who was killed and beheaded. And you remember that another lawmaker was, in the past few months also beheaded, and his body was found in the state. And this is a sad news for me. As far as
that's the one we took the story just now.
Yeah, we took the
and they collected 15 million.
Yeah.
Still killed
We took the story, yeah. All right, so we know this issue of fuel subsidy and the fuel scarcity. We've been talking about it since yesterday, and MoMA, that's the Major Oil Marketers Association, said that the current fuel scarcity, as many of you know, is because of distribution issue. According to them, the supply figures from the domestic market, and this was said by Mr. Olumide Adeosun, he's the chairman of MoMAN. He's saying that the supply is the problem because they had about 433,000 metric tons of petrol distributed in April. It came down to 213 in May, and then further down to 140,000 in June. And this is why we're having issues with the scarcity. And he explained that the consistent drop in supply over this 3-month period has contributed in no small measure to the scarcity we see. However, also the IPMAN chairman, Mr. Mike Oshati, was reiterating the need for government to remove subsidy. According to him, we paid 4 trillion naira in the last budget. And now if we continue at this rate, as we dollar, the crude is increasing, the cost of crude is increasing, we're likely to be about 6 trillion naira in 2022. So he's saying that this is not sustainable. And if you recall, our president was speaking to Bloomberg, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? He was telling them that you cannot, that removing subsidy is good on paper, but realistically, it's a whole different ballgame because people cannot afford. We understand that, but how do we never solve the problem? For me, it sounds like they're just pushing the problem to the next administration.
You see, I can't blame this administration alone. Nigeria, we've been in democratic Kenya for the past 22 years. Yeah. And it's even 23 years, God save. Not one of those governments could say, let me even start a refinery and start to build a refinery.
And this one has started.
No, they are not. It's Dangote that has started it.
It's the partnership with the government.
Dangote is private, and Dangote can do whatever he likes when he opens his refinery. Listen, he can decide that he's not even supplying to Nigeria.
I could have sworn that Nigeria has stakes in this refinery. I thought we have stakes.
They just bought
have stakes.
No, they bought that.
It's not even have majority stakes now.
But we have stakes in it.
If you have 20%, which is
but also give him all what he needs.
And I know that Dangote is doing it because of the goodness of his heart. He's not that. No, he's a businessman, but he's thinking of Nigeria. That's why he's doing this. He's thinking of us. Listen, the money doesn't need.
Is all that they think.
Let's move on to Vanguard.
He's a conscious capitalist. He's thinking of us.
He's thinking of us. He has children, he has businesses, he's a wealthy man. He's trying to help us, please, Nigeria. Let's move on. Vanguard. Help Nigeria. No. How many beds can he sleep on? Come on, he's okay. He wants to help us.
Let it open first now.
Vanguard, please, let us concentrate. We are still reviewing papers here. Energy crisis, petrol scarcity to persist, says stakeholders. Defections, we're worried, but can't stop exodus, says APC National Chairman, says that's Adamu. AGF asks court to dismiss suit seeking upward review of judges' salaries. Resist attempt to use social media to impede national security, DSS warns. NUT threatens strike over the sack of 2,357 teachers in Kaduna. CVR, that's the continued voter registration. INEC has agreed to extend exercises reps. 24 states get 477 billion naira refund for expenses on federal route projects. And strike versus reopen soon, FG assures. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The AGFO and the MBA and the 28 lawyers who went to court. Several other lawyers, not 28. So there's a court action asking for a upward review of judges' salaries. And the Attorney General, of course, Honorable Abiu, how do they call them? The Minister for Justice, Malami, has gone to court to say that they should just strike out that matter preliminary because of, he says that the person who instituted the action does not have a stake in the matter. And that's an SAN who, along with 30 other SAN from the MBA, instituted that action. Okay. We'll wait to see the ending. I hope that there's an upward review so that at least we can have some form of independence of the judiciary.
So the DSS, Department of State Services, is speaking to the media and saying that the media should work hand in hand with them in educating the people and being careful in how we disseminate news in these times. They're pleading and they're saying that the media needs to work closely in educating the public to shun violence, ethnic disharmony, intolerance, and other divisive measures capable of inflaming passion and creating instability. It says, especially towards the 2023 elections, we need to be careful of people using social media to pass news that may cause tension between bring about ethno-religious crisis. Media should please fact-check their information before going ahead to publish, and that this is the only country we have. We have to work together. All hands have to be on deck to ensure that there's peace. And just saying that Nigerians also haven't said that. They're saying that they would prosecute or they will arrest anyone who's caught trying to use social media fake news to cause disharmony in our country.
Mike, any story in Vanguard?
I was going to talk about the poor student, poor girl. In Ondo. Yeah, she left the school premises, and I think she must have been walking on the banks of the river when the flood swept her, and they were able to identify that she was missing when they found her mathematical set. She was swept around River Dada in the Semu area of the ancient town, and the police are making all efforts to retrieve her body.
Really sad indeed. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up. Let me just read Nigerian Tribune. Over 60 million involved in child labor in Nigeria. Recent attacks on churches meant to cause religious stress, says Buhari. Peter Obi, Wike meet in Rivers. NUT rejects Kaduna's government sack of 2,357 teachers, and over 20 Chibok girls still in Sambisa Forest. That's all we can take on our front page review. When we return, move on to the stories of our day. But first, we'll bring in our friends from FBN Quest. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
How this will go be now, my brother? Make guys do some work business. It's very cool business town right now. Nice. Just bring 100,000 naira.
You better invest in real estate. Revolution Plus Property is giving their customers extravagant discount. That's so cool. If you deposit as low as 100,000 naira on any of their landed properties, hey, Revolution Plus Property will give you a very big grant. Wow. And plenty gifts to enjoy yourself in this illegal period.
It's bigger, it's extravagant. Revolution Plus Property Ilea Extravagant Promo. Buy any of our landed properties, deposit as low as 100,000 naira and get a bag of rice, gas cooker, RAM, and other fantastic gifts. What are you waiting for? Promo runs from June 16th to July 31st, 2022. Terms and conditions apply.
Let me simply go and buy my own.
Revolution Plus Property. Affordable housing.
They act like Leila's mom. What if she's bringing Supreme ice cream?
Hey girls, I got ice cream. She's coming. Hey girls, I got ice cream.
Supreme ice cream now comes in a new exciting look with new label design, logo, and now comes in a white tub with all the joy in every scoop. Supreme, rich and creamy ice cream.
Nivea Natural Fairness is now Nivea Perfect and Radiant. Reveal your skin's natural radiance with Nivea Perfect and Radiant, enriched with berry extracts and UV filters. To reduce dark spots and even out your skin tone. For radiant and even-toned skin, say hello again to Nivea Perfect and Radiant Body Lotion. Try the full Nivea Perfect and Radiant range to unlock your most radiant self.
Babies cannot speak. All they do is cry whenever they're sick. When your baby is going through aches, fever, or pains, allergic cough, including discomfort associated with teething pains, treat your baby with Bonababe syrup. Bonababe is manufactured by Bond Chemical Industries Limited. Available in pharmacies near you. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor.
I use it for you when you are a baby.
And cough!
Everybody knows, say, I be real person. Even for my acting. Now, original, not be fake.
So you mama.
Enjoy, my people. As they see me so, I know they joke with anything where they bring rich flavor, total nutrition, and great taste.
Like my Checkers custard make 3-in-1. The Totorica, Banga, and rich custard.
Checkers custard quality sure. My family, they know they take up here.
Can someone get this two out of my set now?
Good thing good, I beg. I no go lie. This na custard.
Checkers. Na custard be that.
I find the strength I need every time that I look into your eyes. I know they worry, cause I know, say you did by my side. And if I fall away, right in the midst of all my hour, you know that I am for my while. Oh, they always there for me. No matter what I do, you love me unconditionally. You show up for me every day. No matter when I show you, you show me love. You show me love.
Thanks for staying with us. So joining us to discuss Islamic estate planning is a private trust specialist at FBN Quest Trustees, Mutiat Olatunji. Welcome to the show, madam.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So Islamic estate planning, the Quran has a robust guideline on inheritance planning. Muslims believe that their wealth and assets are an amana from Allah, and they will be questioned about it in the life after. In that light, we'll be discussing with our guests how Muslims can properly plan their estate. So what is Islamic estate plan? Let's start with that first of all. What exactly does that mean?
Okay, so Islamic estate planning basically is a structure that you put in place. Like you had said in your intro, we believe as Muslims that wealth is an amana from Allah and will be questioned about it. So a person needs to actively think of how you want to transfer those wealth from generation to generation, and you have to put a structure in place for that whilst you are still alive.
Okay, so as a Muslim then, it's almost like you have to do it. It's something it's an obligation.
Yes, it's a mandatory obligation.
So that cuts across every Muslim, no matter your financial status?
Exactly, yes. Okay. Every person, every Muslim.
So there's certain technical details on Islamic estate that a Muslim will bother about, that I think about all the time. For instance, in the Quran, we have Quranic heirs. You have relatives that you just don't disown. You have dependents who you must plan for. How do you advise when a Muslim comes to put in a trust for a particular dependent, and then, they have a list of other dependents that I'm removing? How do you deal with that issue?
Okay, so there's a difference between the al-wasiya and a trust. So al-wasiya is the will. The sharing formula for that is expressly spelled out in the Quran. But for the trust, which is called a waqf, you can have different beneficiaries of your waqf. As a matter of fact, you can have a family waqf and you can have a charitable waqf. So the charitable waqf, Muslims know that we have to perform sadaqah jariyah, and that is like a charity that outlives you. So you can put a structure in place whereby you have named beneficiaries for that charity and it outlives you.
Okay, please, can I just go back to my question? I said, regardless of your financial status,
yes.
Some Muslims might be saying, I don't have enough money to even have a plan put together. Do you have a message for someone like that?
Okay, so the truth is that no matter how little your asset or money is, you have beneficiaries that have to take over that assets. You have monies in banks. You have so many things. So the best thing to do is to ensure that you have an awasiya. As a matter of fact, the Prophet had said that if anybody has something to bequeath, you don't keep it to you for 2 nights without having a will in respect of it. So it is mandatory that you have something written out. And if we are to think about it, one of the reasons why this is important is that in as much as the Quran has spelled out the distribution formula, how do your beneficiaries even know what you have if you don't have it properly documented? Because what some Muslims will tell you is that, oh, I don't need to have a will because when I pass, the Quran already states how it should be distributed. But the truth is that if the people that are distributed don't even know what you have, how would they go about distributing it? Another thing is that what is the assurance that your beneficiaries or those you've left behind would actually administer this thing in line with the Quran?
So, you know, as a Muslim, because for those of us looking outside in and saying, there are 4 wives, and there are plenty children, and there are multiple, because I know I always tell my grandfather was a very, very prominent Muslim, and he had multiple wives, he had siblings, and he was able to put in a trust for years, since 1976, even to now. So how do you manage to help people with multiple families? Can you put a trust in all of them, or can you just have one person in charge of that trust?
You can have, so we at FBN Quest Trustees, that is part of what we do. When you appoint an institutional trustee, it makes it easy. So you can have all your 4 wives and your children and everybody listed as beneficiaries in your family waqf. So that way it transcends from generation to generation and everybody continues to enjoy it.
Yes. This is just, it's news to me. I didn't know that it was mandatory for Muslims to actually have a will. You know, because I know many Muslims who have died, they didn't have nothing and they didn't have no will. So how are you going to be informing them that, come, it's mandatory? In fact, I even have one that works for me. That when I get to shrine now, I'm going to call him and say, Oga.
What part of the Quran? Maybe you tell us what part of the Quran says? Chapter 4.
Yes, so it's well spelled out in chapter 4.
Quran, chapter 4. You are supposed to have, and I know he has property. You know? And I don't know. Well, he only has one.
I think I know what you're talking about.
You can even also advise him to have a waqf. So he can reach out to us and we can set up a family waqf for him.
Okay. So for those of us that don't know what a waqf,
that's a trust.
A trust, okay.
So the way a trust works is that if you have an asset and you know that this asset is income generating and you want your families to benefit from it, you can transfer that asset to the trustee and say, you know what, all the rental income from this asset, this is how I want it to be shared amongst my beneficiaries.
You know something? I went to to an event where you were there, and there was something you said which I thought was really crucial. Because a lot of business owners today are running businesses that are thriving.
Yes.
Their children have traveled abroad, they are there, living there, they don't want to come back to Nigeria, and you're running this business that is doing so well. Unfortunately, you fall sick, you die, and then the business crumbles. What does FBN Trust have to help that kind of person to have a succession plan?
Okay, so you can also, if you have a company, for example, and you have shares, you're the majority shareholder, during your lifetime, you can transfer your shares to FBN Quest Trustees as your trustee. And what we do is that then periodically you get us to sit on your board, right? So that we understand how your mind works, we understand the working of your business. So immediately the person passes, we automatically step in as majority shareholder and a member of the board to ensure that the company continues to run even whilst you are no longer alive.
My children in America, would they be getting profits from proceeds from that company?
Yes,
would you ensure
so all of that is going to be taken care of in the trust. So your dividends, how do you want it to be paid? What percentage should be paid to your children? What percentage of the profits from the company that is accruing to you should go back to the company? What percentage should you use to build the business?
Right.
Who do you want to be the MD of the company? What are the criteria you want to put in place? So all of that to be expressly spelled out in your trust and for Muslims in your work.
Now that we're talking about proceeds, sorry, you know, there are certain things that bother Muslims again, whether the sort of business or, you know, for those who put in monies into the trust, what kind of businesses would you do that will not clash with the faith?
Okay, so we have Sharia compliance investments. So we always ensure that when we onboard our clients, especially for our waqf, we let them know that these are the kind of investments your money is going into. So it is purely halal. We are not mixing riba, because Muslims are always very particular about riba and, oh, I don't want interest. So we assure them that we have portfolios that
halal?
Halal is legal.
It's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
So it's not into alcohol. It's not
haram.
into interest
yielding investments.
Okay. How do you want to convince me? I'm a Muslim now. You want to?
You're not a Muslim, why?
I'm just assuming.
Oh,
now.
say she's just checking
for now.
For the purpose of this conversation.
Sorry, just checking. Just checking.
Me.
I know.
I
was ready to fire.
African girl. Excuse me. How do you want to convince me that it's not going to enter the hands of some corrupt? My estate is not going to enter into the hands of some corrupt people, and then my children will not see any money.
Okay, so if you come to FBN Quest Trustees, we have track records. We have a lot of estates that we manage, and we have lots of beneficiaries, and we've been managing a particular big estate for over 10 years, and there has been no issue. So there's also transparency. We are accountable to the beneficiaries. We give them quarterly statements, quarterly reports, so that they can see how it is going. Even for the business, we have strategy sessions if you have a business, just so that there's transparency and you can see that we are following the dictates and the intent of the settler.
Yeah, you know, sometimes, especially in Nigeria, where we may have one religion and then we have our culture and those things clash. So you have someone who may have a trust as this, but then there's the culture that says the firstborn has to do this, or if the person automatically becomes the person that controls the estate.
Okay.
In cases like that, it may also lead to court. What part do you play in sort of solving a situation that may be, you know, a bit confusing like this?
Okay, so for the WACF, which is a trust, it is private and confidential, meaning that the arrangement is just between the settler, the trustees, and when the settler passes, the beneficiaries. So the asset has been transferred to the trust. So the issue of who controls does not even arise, because the legal ownership of those assets has been transferred to the trustee while the settler is still alive. So you can't even lay any claim to the property or the asset.
You can't even trace it. I can't say, let me go and look for Mariam.
You can't trace it. So the beauty about it also is that when you set up a WACF and you want to acquire new assets, you acquire it directly in the name of the trust, not in your personal name. Okay. And you can give your trust any name. So you can give your trust Ijab Trust.
Okay.
And we are not under any obligation to disclose who owns Ijab Trust.
Okay.
So it is private, and you cannot even trace it back to Nima or me or anybody. So even your beneficiaries, there's a limit to what they know.
But somebody has to know, because if the owner of the trust or the person that set up dies, and nobody knows that,
so there's
a
something
trust.
called a trust protector or a designated representative.
Who is that person? How would I find that person?
So in Islam, we call the person the wakif. So it's the wakif that nominates that person. You can nominate anybody. Okay. You can even nominate a corporate entity to inform them that, you know what, I have this arrangement. Once I pass, inform FBN Quest Trustees that I have passed and ensure that they stick to the object of the trust. Oh, so every trust has an object.
What did you call that?
Wakif.
Wakif. That's a person.
So is this also available for Christians or just for Muslims?
So we have, estate planning generally, we have two types. So you have the conventional and you have the Islamic. So there's the conventional estate planning as well, where you can set up a trust.
Same thing, just that the Islamic one has peculiarities.
Exactly.
Why would they come to FBN Quest Trustees?
Okay, so you have to come to FBN Quest Trustees because we help you plan your inheritance without hassles. We know that fights will happen. We've seen Islamic estates go to courts. People would fight. And in the long run, because you are going to be questioned about these things in the year after, you need to ensure that you've tidied up your end. So you don't want a situation whereby you pass and then your estate is being shared anyhow. And the ultimate beneficiaries that the Quran has spelled out don't even end up getting anything. And then you'll be questioned. So why not just put a plan in place to ensure that, okay, you know what, even if I drop dead today and I'm called to answer for this, I know I'm going to be fine. Because lawyers will say that there are two things that are certain in life. You pay taxes and you will die.
Who does the Quran spell out? Who are the beneficiaries the Quran spells out?
So there are different classes of beneficiaries.
Why are you laughing?
So
because you are getting some Islamic lessons today, and she's happy to
go ahead.
So there are different lines of beneficiaries. You have the first line of beneficiaries. You have your father, your mother, your spouse, your children, your siblings, even your half-siblings are entitled to inherit from you. So the sharing formula that each person now gets varies on, okay, so if you don't have a father, but you have a mother, some people will get higher than they will normally get. And then typically the male gets twice, or the male sons get twice of what the daughters will get.
You know, the Quran is such a very explicit and descriptive.
I'm telling you.
Like, it describes.
everything.
So all the scenarios it gives to you.
Yes.
The Bible is just very, very vague. Like, you're constantly interpreting. But it's really interesting how the Quran is very specific.
Yes.
Thank you so much for... is there anything else we've missed out that you want to share also on FBN Quest?
So, like I said before, we are here to help you plan your inheritance without hassles, be it the conventional or the Islamic point of view, anyone. But the good thing is that you should always take that first step. You should always take that first step.
I really like this conversation.
And you tell them that they should come to FBN.
I know somebody. How do we reach you?
Okay, so you can reach us through our social media platform. That's at FBN Quest. You can also go to our website and just drop us a message or send an email.
Thank you.
I mean, this is such an important information because many people are, today we are entrepreneurs. Lots of people are building businesses and they just do it, they pay school fees and that's it, it's done. But this helps it to gives it longevity. Thank you so much, Matthias, for joining us. We have to wrap up.
Oh, sorry.
Why do you want to take her home?
Sell FBN to me. First.
Okay, I can do that shortly. Okay, so I'm sure you have...
You better go and talk about the shrine.
Stop to work.
Be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Wow! Celebrity, sir.
This is the best thing that could ever happen to me. You know, when I started searching for a place to, buy property, and people were just taking me to forest, I did a lot of search, not until I met one of your marketers sometimes in 2015, and told me about Adron. So when I followed him, I come to the site. When I saw blew in my mind, I bought into the property, and the rest is history. Hassle-free, everything. Here is so peaceful. We sleep like a baby here. Thank God also Adron has built a police post somewhere around it. The greatest thing that I enjoy so far now is, I have uninterrupted power supply. Adron is true to his word. It's a friendly organization. Professional. I can recommend Adron to anybody. This is a place to be. This is the next cash cow for people.
Adron Homes, making the incredible affordable.
Let's act like Leila's mom. What if she's bringing Supreme ice cream?
Hey girls, I got ice cream.
She's coming.
Hey girls, I got ice cream.
Supreme ice cream now comes in a new exciting look with new label design, logo, and now comes in a white tub with all the joy in every scoop. Supreme, rich and creamy ice cream.
It's time for ShopRite's Big Low Price Carnival. Get ready for affordable offers.
Buy Happy Toilet Cleaner at 1,199 Naira 99 kobo and Dettol Bathing Soap at 419 Naira 99 kobo.
Don't miss out on these unbelievable deals and more at the Big Low Price Carnival, only at ShopRite. Brekete times 10. Get a Glow SIM today and enjoy 1,000 Naira sign-on bonus for voice and data. All new and existing Glow subscribers also get 10 times the value of their every recharge, plus up to double their data recharge as bonus. All Glow subscribers also get up to free 20,000 Naira bonus for voice and data. Brekete times 10. Get a Glow SIM today and enjoy 1,000 Naira sign-on bonus for voice and data. All new and existing Glow subscribers also get 10 times the value of their every recharge, plus up to double their data recharge as bonus. All Glow subscribers also get up to free 20,000 Naira bonus for voice and data.
Life is a journey, they say. And the best journeys are never traveled alone. Whether it's starting that financial journey and needing stability, or needing the right direction for sound investments. At ARM, we are there for you through every phase of your life, even making the transfer of your wealth and assets totally seamless. And when you're ready to explore life after work, ARM doesn't just show you the way, we are right there with you.
Let's face tomorrow together.
ARM, invested in your tomorrow.
Being a TV host, I can tell you that being a parent is one of the biggest reality shows you will ever produce. Hi. Oh, yeah. As cute as they can be, even you need to take a break to take care of some of the other realities of life. And that's why the TVC Staff Crash was put together to help parents just like me get those professional childcare services that they need. Come on, let's go. Let's go. The TVC Staff Crash Baby Lounge team of professionals are here to help take a load off your mind. The TVC Staff Crash is a nursing mom support system, a toddler's safe haven, and a young learner's academy throughout the year. It's comfortable, convenient, and with competitive pricing for the modern parent. So, while they learn through play, you can go about getting your pay. The TVC Staff Crash, open to the public from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
By the riverside, love blossoms. And betrayal sails on. Two friends.
He is like a brother, and I promise you that nothing and no one can hurt him as long as I live.
Witness the story of three hearts entangled in a dangerous triangle.
You've heard from Lena Maria?
I haven't talked to her since I dropped her off at her house yesterday.
Christian will be my best man.
I never trusted that guy.
For lies.
Hello.
I'm coming home soon.
Christian, what do we do?
Somebody is bound to get hurt, and it's going to be terrible.
Sinew, River of Passions.
Thanks for staying with us. So today we read in the papers that the Nigeria Union of Teachers are planning to go on strike following the sack of 2,192 primary school teachers, including, wait for this, the president of the NUT, who himself refused to go for the competency test. So it's personal now. So he has said that they're going on a strike. And according to him, there are better ways of going about this. And we'd like to hear Nigerians' thoughts on this, because this is not the first time Kaduna State is sacking teachers. In the past, I think they've about 2018, they sacked about 21,000 plus teachers, although they actually replaced them with 25,000 teachers recruited using a vigorous process. So the question is, do we support the NUT on this strike action, especially because we feel that we need teachers? Is it right to sack them because of this issue of, because many of them failed or even refused to sit for the competency test? Or are there other ways, as NUT is saying, that we have a need for teachers? Could we have gone about this a different way? You can join the conversation 081-270-53687. And also tweet to us on TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Mariam,
Okay.
What are your thoughts on this?
Yes, so two things. One is the fact that there was a competency test and some people failed. And for me, the process seemed fair because they have a 0 to 40%. If you got within that mark, you were promptly sacked. But if you got 40% to 74%, you're given another chance to try again, having, gone back to study and, make yourself prepared. Then from 75% and above, you were retained, and then the government trains you further, leadership and so many other things that can help you be a better teacher. So for me, just looking at that process seems quite fair, and that any Nigerian that looks through this would not find any problem with it. But the NUT actually thinks differently. At first, I didn't understand what they meant. I was like, this should be normal. But I would like to read what they said, and maybe it will make sense to some people. They said the very concept of competency test is an aberration and absurd. And the reason why they say that is that the State Public Service has, they have schools and institutions statutorily saddled with the responsibility of teacher education, and these institutions have certified them to be competent, fit, and proper to be teachers. So what they're saying is that there's already a process in place that makes sure that the schools that a teacher would go to become a teacher is there. And once you have gone through that school and they have given you a certificate to say you're certified, then this competency test really is illegal. And I can see why they say that. So the problem right now should not be about the competency test. It's about the fact that these institutions that have already been put in place, are they competent? Are they really churning out the right sort of teachers? So the war really shouldn't be with this competency test. That is taking a step further to make sure that Kaduna State children are getting the best from their teachers or the best education. But with the pre-competent institutions that are not doing the job of making sure that those who go through that system are coming out really competent. And so for me, I feel NUT can have a better conversation concerning this. Sit with Kaduna State government and see where you can do better from that institutional level than this back and forth. Now, concerning the sacking of those who did not agree to sit for that test, maybe the Kaduna State government can have a rethink and just make them write this test. Give them another opportunity to write the test.
What I will quickly say on this. The former Edo State Governor, Oshomole, had done a test, and then he sacked some workers, and then NUT went on a strike, and then he reinstated those workers. That was, for me, a waste of the exercise in itself. So this is what I would say. The NUT president in Kaduna State did not pass that test.
No,
he refused.
He refused to sit for the test, so he was also sacked.
Yes.
So I believe that as it is now, they are taking advantage of that association body to compel government to bend to their lower standards. As a body, you yourself should regulate yourself and make sure that your members are top-notch. What they do in Lagos State, continuous training. I have a friend who's a teacher in Lagos State. Continuous training and retraining, on even new modern methods of teaching should continue to happen within Kaduna State, such that if they wake up any of your teachers and take them anywhere in the world to write an exam, they will be competent and ever, best of their best, to show that the product that you eventually churn out from the schools are also good. If every time Kaduna State governor does a test and he can come out and say a number of you did not pass that test, and so because of that, a larger number of you refuse to take part in the test, you're simply blackmailing the system. What we are concerned about is the final product, which is the child that you're teaching in all the schools, how they turn out, what standard of education are you giving them. There are new modern methods of doing things now. There's artificial intelligence. There are new modern things that are happening now. If you don't have a teacher who is continuously learning and relearning, how do you have a child that understands this method? Do you want to be going to exams with theory and objective, carrying picture, draw cockroach, and all of that today?
And interestingly, you see, we have to remember 30,000 sacked. So there are some competent teachers amongst them.
Yes.
2,192 are the ones we're having issues with. So there's a huge chunk of competent teachers within the state. So this 2,001, why is it so difficult? They're the ones that now want to go on strike because of 2,192.
Thank you.
That's the issue we're having.
My own is this. If you're a lawyer, you constantly have to read.
Yes.
Because there are things that they change
every time,
and so do you have to go on a break?
No. Let me finish your point.
So you have to continue to read. If you're a doctor, it is imperative that because people's lives are in your hand, you continually have to increase your knowledge.
And do all sorts of tests too.
You have to do all sorts of tests.
Yes.
As a doctor, the new machines come out. If you don't read and study, you will not know how to use those machines. So why that you, who are the person responsible, the person responsible to educate those people. Why do you not want to improve your brain?
Let me go on a break, YK, because YK, Dima touched on something really important. The fact that NUT is using the machinery
to blackmail.
To almost, can I call it blackmail?
Yes.
To blackmail the government on this. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built, state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy eSplash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC Communications story.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
topic. So, thanks for staying with us. Mariam, you wanted to add to what we're talking about concerning this NUT?
The painful part is that they said a nationwide strike.
Yes.
That was the one that paid me the most. So those of you in Kaduna refuse to do the right thing. Or you are blaming your government saying that they didn't do the right thing, and you think a union action should now concern those of us in Lagos whose children are in government schools that are already doing the right things. I don't understand. Why should it be a nationwide strike? So that's why I call it a blackmail.
I think it's also fair for me to even read from the NUT, just like you said earlier. It said, we are not against the conduct of the competency test. If due process is followed, I said, when I come back to this due process, and that I have to underline due process. What is due process? But it should not be used as a basis for sacking teachers. The competency test should be used to determine teachers' capacity gap and tailored specific training programs to improve their capacities. So, going back, let's try to unpack that now. They're saying, don't sack us because we got 30% in the test. What you need to do for me is understand where my gaps are. Then organize a training for me. Now, and I think about it, like, somebody goes, maybe leaves Ghana, for example, and goes to maybe Ireland, wants to be a medical doctor, wants to enter university, and say, oh, I have my certificate from Ghana School or whatever. And I say, thank you, nice certificate, but first of all, do our own exam. Oh, I scored a percentage. I'm sure you scored 100%, but these are our own requirements. So can we try to educate the NUT? Yes, they got 30%, but we're saying 30% is good for you. But for our own schools, our public schools matter to us now. Yes. If you don't have 40% and over, we can't have you in our group.
System.
We really need. So it's not a problem.
We're also forgetting that the initial tests and SAC that happened in the past.
Yes.
Teachers were employed also to fill in the gap, who were trained. So
25,000 wage.
Yes,
even more than
and this has to be continuous. To see that those people that were also added to the system continue to develop themselves. What we are talking about here is self-development. You cannot sit. It's like being on this table now and saying, I don't know what is on the news. It concern me. Have they done convention? Of course, my players will think, is this one is a head on a neck or a neck, a leg? Is she thinking with her feet? So you cannot continue, just as Wake said, to be a teacher and say, no, I will sit on curriculum and recycle curriculum. It can no longer be like that. And I think they should even extend it to the universities, because if we say we should open ASU now, it's another, it's true. It's another, how can you teach sciences? And in your sciences that you're teaching, every year you fail a student who is more advanced than you, who went far and above to do a research. Because you are a professor, you have a PhD, and you refuse to do modern research. These are the issues that we have in Nigeria.
So I want to start by saying I don't agree with this nationwide strike that they are proposing. But I want us to also look at it from their side. So here I am. I decide to go to College of Education in Kaduna State. I go through that process. I put my monies together, pay for my fees, and we know how tough things can be for teachers that are employed. How much do they make and things like that? I believe strongly in developing yourself, but I understand how it can be expensive to do that without government support. And so I find myself having put myself through the school system, paid for that, and now I am a teacher. And then there's this competency test that says I'm not competent enough. But I've gone through the institutions that have made me a teacher. So I see where NUT is saying, okay, government, you understand this. Help us with training them. Help us with making sure that they are competent enough for Kaduna State schools. But to say they should just be thrown away, if they were teachers that were just picked up from the road, they had no certification at all that shows that they had gone through schools of education or have studied education or have studied to become teachers, I can understand that. But they have done that part. What can we do for them instead of throwing them away? You know, every time we say we should try and localize our solutions, and sometimes I feel we throw the baby out with the bathwater.
So that's an important angle. Yeah, we are very correct. I think so. But there's always there's also an angle, a different angle to that, because I've been privileged to work within the schools, and I know, because we were part of those that were training teachers in Lagos State. And now we found that there were some teachers, maybe for example, you're a cleaner in school. Teacher A, who is qualified, didn't come to school today. And you're now, maybe just ABC 1, 2, 3, and you assist. You do that, After 5 years, you're not competent, you left on the job. And gradually now you've been there for 5 years. A Kaduna State governor now comes and says, auntie, you don't have certification. But you've been there, the teachers know you're good, you're actually very good, but you're not educated enough because you're only teaching primary 1 level.
Yes.
So that's all you need. You've crammed the thing back to work, you just churn it out. So what we're saying is that yes, you are doing the job, but we need you to be properly certified. So what Lagos State did was that, okay, these ones, let us retrain them. Go and get certified. Yes, you started as a cleaner. You started teaching our children. Go back and go and get your certification. You do a proper examination, and you now come back into the classroom because you're now certified. Yes. But these ones now, so to buttress your point, yes, instead of these less than 40%, instead of total sack, because if you sack them, they don't have jobs. You're throwing numbers back into the job market. We're saying come back and go and get retrained.
We're missing the point. I have an LLB. I don't have an LLM. I don't have a master's in law. Everything I know, I constantly have to relearn. Constantly have to self-develop to improve my firm. What we are saying here is that you have a College of Education certificate or maybe a BSc, BEd, that's an education in education, like the standard is in Lagos now. But after that BEd, I don't go school, I don't go so. I've crammed and passed, and that certificate is all. Is it? That is not knowledge. Yeah. You don't have to. If they put you to a test. I wrote an exam recently that I didn't even have to do a full class for. Just, constant reading over a week, and I was able to take a crash course, and I took that test. What we are saying is, can the Kaduna State teacher sit down at any test and do it just because you're current, you're reading on your own? You don't have to go to school. We're confusing certification with this. So you have a College of Education degree certificate, and so you will now say, I have that, and based on that, that's the only test I can write. If they put you to test and ask you general questions, because your children, sometimes the children you're teaching are even more wiser than you, and more knowledgeable than you, because some parents are already paying for extracurricular activities and teachers for their children, and they know more than their teachers. Right. You will not see a teacher confused when the child is saying, no, time zones and all of that, and the teacher is saying, I'm teaching you how to tell the clock. This is seconds, hands, minutes, and hour, hand. Focus on what I'm telling you. And the child is saying, but my parents talk about time zones. When I call my cousins in the US, it's a different time zone. And the teacher is wondering.
Let me take Akode's call. Good morning, Akode. Are you there?
Let's talk about the test.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. I think Sister Nima just addressed some of my concerns now. It's not about certification in the real essence of it. The competency test is not trying to test their certification. It's only trying to see whether they know what they are expected to do in class. So it's not about what Miriam was saying, that they don't have money to develop themselves. No, it's not about going to school. But do you understand some of the basic things you need to do as a teacher in the classroom? People have turned this teacher's job to an issue that you just, when you're looking for a job, they just send you into the primary schools or public secondary school just because you need a job and you don't have the right knowledge and everything. So I think Nima just addressed it. I don't need to go for that. She has actually set my mind on this issue.
Thank you very much. Waike, before I come to you, I have the NUT chairman on the phone, himself, Mr. Audu Amba, the national president of the Nigeria Union of Teachers. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Good to have you on the show. So we've been discussing your matter, and it would be great to get your perspective directly to know why you insist on this strike, especially because 2,000 people are about to be sacked from Kaduna State. There's an argument that your point of view may have been cogent if 80% failed. Then you say, okay, let's retrain. But if you have about 10, 20% who fail, don't you think it's right for the Kaduna State government to let them go?
Now, I want to maybe categorically express my displeasure with what is happening in Kaduna State. Let me sincerely appreciate you and let me put the record straight. The Nigerian Union of Teachers at the national headquarters decided to speak against this process, not because of anything, but because of the fact that in this same Kaduna State, 3 years ago or 4 years ago, the same competency test was administered to the entire teachers of Kaduna State, where the NUT supported government. The government had the feelings that the standard is not what it's supposed to be. The entire union supported the government, And at the end of the day, about 21,780 teachers were sacked because they couldn't pass with a pass mark of 75%. And that brought us to where we are today. If 21,780 were sacked and the government declared them incompetent, and at the end of the day, about 20,000 were recruited, whom they went through all the necessary process, all the rigorous process. At the end of the day, they were found worthy to be recruited as competent teachers.
Okay.
If they had recruited competent teachers in Kaduna State, why again, after less than 3 years, another competency test will be administered to already competent teachers that you say you saw recruited? So you can look at the contradiction. So what we are saying is that if you as a government must have done the needful by recruiting competent teachers that you so-called that they were competent, you went out there, told the whole world that today in Kaduna State you have gotten competent teachers.
Mr. Audu, let me pause you for a second, because what the reports we have from the spokesperson from Kaduna State, 30,000 teachers were tested. 30,000. So it means that between the 25,000 that they recruited in 2018 to replace that 21,000 that were sacked, they got additional 5,000. So 30,000 people were tested. So right now, about 28,000 teachers qualified are currently teaching. 2,000 are being fired.
The 2,300 and something that have been fired is not like they failed the competencies, but they refuse to subject themselves to these so-called competencies. Because teachers say, if you had recruited us and you taught us to be competent, we cannot see ourselves being subjected to another competency test. At the end of the day, you will now refer us as not competent and you will dismiss us. So that's why these 2,000 plus refused to. They refused to. They didn't even start for the competency test.
Okay.
It's not like they start for it and they fail.
Okay,
no,
all right.
They refused to even start for it.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
But every day things change. People learn new things every day. Every day something happens. I learned 2 days ago, 5 days ago, that Pluto is no more a planet.
What?
Pluto is no more a planet. I just learned that, and I didn't know because I was not reading to find out.
I can't get you because the voice is cracking. I can't get you.
Okay, so she's saying that we learn new things every day. That is important. I think you're trying to say that it's important for the teachers to keep learning and relearning, right?
So all they're doing is making sure that the teachers are keeping up with the general knowledge. They are teaching our children.
Listen. Let me put the record straight. Competency of a teacher does not mean giving me a test. I'm a professional teacher. Competency of somebody being a teacher does not mean giving me a test. You understand me? There are so many issues that you put into consideration. You don't just give somebody a technical test and you tag him to be competent. If you want to somebody whether he is competent, go to his classroom, enter and look at what he is doing in the classroom. What are the quality assurance department doing? Let them visit the teachers in their school. Let them see them teaching in their various classes. That's where they can be able to assess whether such teachers are competent to be in the classroom or not. Well, you cannot sit down under a closed door and give them 10 minutes question, and at the end of the day, you will task somebody whether he is competent or not competent. There are three domains. Of teaching.
Let me get a few more questions in for you, sir.
There are affirmative, cognitive, affirmative domains for teaching. So it is not only one of the domains that you will use and qualify somebody to be a competent teacher. I'm a professional teacher. If I want to see if somebody is a good teacher, I will follow him to where he teaches. I will go to the classroom, observe him, and see how he administers his lessons to the people.
Let me get a few more questions in for you, sir.
And give him 1, 2, 3 questions and say he's competent or he's not competent.
Let me
let me put the record straight.
Okay.
These teachers that were so recruited 3-4 years ago, you understand me?
Yeah.
As I speak with you, the civil service rules say in Kaduna State that if you recruit somebody after 1 year, you should give him permanent and pensionable appointment. These teachers have been teaching for the past 4 years. under probation. So the Kaduna State government is trying to casualize the civil service system. That is the truth about it. Now that they are now charging about 2,000 or 3,000 to be sacked, they are now proposing that they will recruit. They will recruit the fresh ones. So if they recruit fresh ones, those fresh ones will still remain as casual. Nobody knows what will come again in the next 2-3 years. They may be asked to go.
All right. Let me get a few more questions in for you, sir. Go ahead, Maria.
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Amba, could you help us understand what processes, what schools teachers go through first before they become teachers in Kaduna State? That's before the competency test. What's the criteria to pick teachers? Do they have to have gone to colleges of education? Do they have to have studied education in university? What's the criteria? That's one. Two, with the...
Let me answer you on this.
Okay.
Before you are asked to train qualified teacher, you must have gone through the normal schooling system. You must have finished your primary, finished your secondary school. In those days, it was teacher training college. No, now we don't have teacher training college. If you finish your primary school, you go to secondary school, then you either go for your NCE, that is National Certificate on Education, and after then you go for your BA. You understand? You go for your BA. These are the criteria, and you must be a licensed person. You must be registered with the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria. Once you register with them and you are licensed, then you are qualified to teach in any of our public school, be it primary or secondary school in Nigeria. The minimum qualification for any teacher to teach in the public primary school in Nigeria is NCE. It's simple.
Okay. So I had the second part of the question because let's tell each other the truth.
Mr. Amba, I need you to hear the question, sir, please.
Let me ask you this question. Yeah. Let me ask you this question. You are a journalist. Am I right?
I'm a TV
You are a journalist.
Yes,
you
go ahead.
Gone through the normal journalism school or stuff like that. And that's why TVC recruited you to work as a journalist in that very field. If you have not gone through the school of journalism, or you have no any business to do with journalism, I want to say that TVC would have recruited you. Yeah. Today, before these teachers were recruited, the government must have convinced that these people that we are recruiting, they have the minimum requirement to teach in our public primary school. And
Mr. Amba, we get that point. I really want Mariam to ask her second part of the question, so you are clear. Go ahead.
So, Mr. Amba, there's a qualification to get you into a place, and then there are tests to make sure that you deserve to continue to be in that place. So let's just move from there. The second part I want to ask is the type of test that's done in the competency test. Is it a use of English test? Because we need to tell each other the truth. Is it the type of questions for the competency test? What type of questions do they ask? Are there things that they should know? Is it like a test? Mr. Amba, let me just finish, please.
Listen. That is why I am telling you that Kaduna State government has an inferior motive in trying to subject teachers to yet another competency test. Now, the question is simple. What is simple? We have Teachers Registration Council, by extension, Teachers Regulatory Council, TRCS. They are the body that are subjected with the issue of person who is supposed to be a teacher in our school. You understand me? Even if you have issues with your teachers in your school or in your school in your state, what you need to do is to, if you liaise with Teachers Response Council of Nigeria, see, I have problem with my teacher in my state. I want you to come and give them maybe vigorous training and see how we can be able to. Now, today, if Teachers Response Council has certified somebody as a teacher and has given him certificate to declare him as a teacher, then it's to get a teacher training institute. So it's never a teacher training institute for them to even admit that question to teachers.
All right.
Then let them go and look for the authority that is concerned.
Okay. Let me get a few. Ms. Amba, I really need to ask you. There are lots of questions for you on this table. Just give me a moment. Please.
I just want to ask, because you said the Kaduna State government have an ulterior motive. What is the motive?
It's no motive to casualize
Casualize,
civil service and primary casualization of civil servants in Kaduna State and or by extension, casualization of primary school teachers.
Okay, we got that point.
Why
All
do I
right.
say so? Listen. Let me give you a reason why I say so.
Yeah.
Okay.
By right, if you recruit somebody as a worker under the civil service, the public service role in Kaduna, he will only work for 1 year. Then you will give him permanent and pensionable appointment letter. Okay. These teachers that were recruited in 2017, up to this moment, they are still on casual. That's why the letter is written dismissal, because they have no any stake. So
that's not fair.
The government was intentionally not to have given them their permanent and pensionable appointment letter so that they can wake up overnight and say that it's me. Their services are no longer needed. And you have nowhere to go because...
So why didn't they do that for the other 25,000? Why didn't they do that for the whole 25,000 that was hired in 2018? If that was the intention.
But you said what?
Why didn't they do that for the whole 25,000 that were recruited? Why only 2,000?
The 2,000 I told you were the ones that refused to subject themselves to that competency test.
Okay.
Didn't you get me? They didn't subject themselves to that competency test. Yes.
So if you are employed by an employer, Mr. Amba,
all right.
If you are employed by an employer and your employer requires you to do a test, knowing that you're still on probation, do you just decide not to do the test? Now,
yes, you have the employer has the right, and you
have the right not to do the test.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, that's the consequences.
Then maybe you have a right
the
also to the
right,
consequence.
And you also have the right.
I'd like to see how the labor court...
somebody has employed you, then you can just
how the National Industrial Court decides
the role of civil service does not permit such.
So this is what I'm saying. I would like to see how the National Industrial Court decides this. Because the power to hire and fire is still with your employer.
No.
Just a minute.
There are rules of engagement. There are rules of engagement.
Okay.
And there's nowhere they say if you want to start somebody, you set a test for him.
Okay.
Set a test for him, then you sack him.
Okay. All right, that's a valid point.
For example, let me give you an example.
Right.
Why is it that people are subjected to go for promotion exam? And if you go for promotion exam, it is not compulsory that you must pass or fail. If you fail, nobody will say that he's sacking you because you failed promotion exam. But you will not just be promoted. You understand? You will not just be promoted, you remain stagnant. The other people that must have passed the promotion, that they will go to the next level. You that did not pass, you will remain. Until next time, you will go again for that promotion examination. Right. Why didn't the government say that if you go for this promotion exam and you fail, we will sack you? Why didn't they do that?
My point is, if they had done the test, passed, and then Kaduna government insists on sacking them, then I would understand your argument, sir.
You said?
If any of these 2,000 plus teachers who refuse to take the test had done the test and passed, and then Kaduna State government is trying to sack them, I would understand your argument on casualization and
all right, sir. Let me even come in with this angle.
Madam, we are the one there. Okay. We know the policies, we know what the government is intending to.
Mr. Amba, let me come with this angle. Mr. Amba, let me come with this angle, because this is my own major concern. When we have this conversation, Mr. Amba, let me finish, please. Let me finish. Allow me finish. My major concern with these kinds of conversation is that we forget to whose interest we are talking about. This is the Nigerian child we're talking about here. Everything we're saying is about this one child. I'm almost done. Let me finish. Let me finish, sir. Mr. Amba, let me finish. This Nigerian child, let me just say this is this child. Now, the same way we look at the Nigerian citizen, and we say, oh, the requirement to serve this person is just go to school and get your BS. And we're saying now, this Nigerian person needs something more than a BS now. We need you to be skillful, because the new world doesn't need your BS anymore. The new world needs better skills to serve these Nigerian people. So the children are going to the university. We're saying, university degree, great, but we need you to do X, Y, Z, because the new world needs better skills. The same situation. This primary school child, you have X, Y, Z requirements to become a teacher. Yes, thank God for that. But we're saying that for a 2022 child, I need these children to go through this competency test to know that I can you can teach my 2022 child in primary school. So don't tell me because you have this XYZ, you have all these statutory obligations. That's great. But what the Kaduna State government is saying, I need this, you must go through this test to teach my child.
Listen, madam. I have told you this severally. Nobody is saying no to all this thing if the government was doing it with a good motive. I give you an example. In 2017, similar thing like this came up. And we as labor leaders, then we supported government. We say, yes, this government is trying to look at the system very, very well and see how they can be able to correct all the ills that have been happening in the system. Mind you, first and foremost, this year we are not the ones that recruited the Senate. They were recruited by the Senate government. But at then we expect government who are effective. We say, go ahead and conduct this very competency test because we want the system to be sanitized. That was what we did with them in 2017. That time I was the state chairman in Katna. With the NDC, the union gave them 100% support.
Right.
Where we had problem with the Kaduna state government was on the pass mark. We agreed at the committee level, headed by the Secretary of the State Government and the Head of Service and the Commissioner of Education and Student Leadership and all the industrial state union in Kaduna. At the end of the day, we so resolve and agree on 60% pass mark. You and I know that there is nowhere in the world that you will start pass mark to be 60%. But we so agree, believing that there were some of our members that couldn't get up to 60%. We were ready to sacrifice them. So presently, after sit and done, after agreeing, we went back and told our members that yes, the exam has come and gone, and the pass mark we agreed with government was 60%. So whoever does not get...
How many?
Okay, well go ahead, Mariam.
Yes. Okay, so I also want to ask, please.
Mr. Amba, are you still there?
Are you still here?
Mr. Amba?
Maybe not. I wanted to find out if there was a difference between, because I know almost every job with the public service, they do promotion exams, promotion tests. And my mom being a nurse, I know she used to always do this test regularly, and that would determine if you would, go to the next, get promoted. I wanted to know the type of questions they ask during the competency test. Is it to find out if you can still speak English, how many times you come into class, how you can engage the students, or is it the same sort of questions as a promotion exam kind of question? So those were the sort of things I would like for him to have answered. And then we'll see even if the competency test is like a, when we are having like a dualization of paying to do the same thing, promotion exam on one side and the competency on the other side. But I think Mr. Amba also needs to understand that while you have the certification to get to a place, to be employed into a place, you need to be able to keep up with the times. You need to be able to make sure that the day-to-day activities of being in that school, of giving the services in that school, it demands a certain improvement over time. And it's okay for the government to be able to ask people to do that. Why are they not having a conversation with Kaduna State government to institutionalize this and make it a legal thing, other than something that Kaduna State does on one side and is seen as a fight with NUT?
I even think it's not just the government schools. They should even make the private schools
go through the competency test,
because you just open a school, you put incompetent people to teach these young kids, and these young kids, look, my daughter was interviewing some young kids over the weekend, and they didn't know tropical countries. They didn't know what a tropical country, they didn't even know what tropics was.
Yeah.
So, what are they learning?
Yes.
And the parents are paying
billions
school fees, hundreds of thousands of school fees a year, and the teachers are...
these are private schools.
These are private schools. So they shouldn't even stay with only government school. They should even extend it to private school, God save.
I've said it before here, and I said it yesterday also, that, especially today, 60 years ago, okay, we understand. So I've said it here before. There are private schools. That one, they have, in fact, there's a body that can ensure of that. But there's another level. And I said it yesterday, the lower income private schools, they are one of the major issues. So for example, you're a teacher, you're a retired teacher, you don't have anything you're doing, you just open your small flat here, you start a private school, that's it. Can you call international school? And the children in the neighborhood must start coming in. Montessori. They want to go, God bless you, Montessori International. All the children in the neighborhood. When and I'm saying it because I've done work with Lagos State government. Lagos State government is investing millions, and I say billions, in primary school, not just secondary, primary school. And I know the kind of funding that have gone into primary school to develop. Now, if you enter a public primary school in Lagos, you might say, it's not fine, they don't have technical. They're working on the infrastructure. But they first of all went to go and train their teachers first. If you enter a classroom in Lagos primary school, you'll be shocked, YK. So many of these, our lower-income people are taking their children to these poor, low-income private schools. When forgetting that the primary schools are much better, well-equipped, with better teachers. Government schools are much better.
I know for sure Lagos State schools.
You know the celebration schools debates
are doing so.
Every year, that debate, when the government schools come, there's knock sense out of all the private schools.
I know she's right. I know she's right. But nonsense, what is that?
No, I'm just saying. Lagos State public schools are doing a fantastic job because I remember that I had a help who had come.
Mariam, let me pause you for a second. Sorry, let me take this call. It's been holding for a minute. I come to Mariam. Good morning, are you there? Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Babatunde. I do apologize. Go ahead,
Mariam. Yes, I was just giving an example of a girl who had come from Plateau State. She said her education till GS3. And I wanted to put her in school. She went to do tests at one of the public schools in Surulere, government Lagos State schools in Surulere. She could not even get into their primary one. She wasn't good enough to get into primary one in Lagos State, and she had gone to GS3 in Plateau State at the time. So I know that they are putting a lot of work, and I feel that maybe Kaduna State is trying to do that. Yes. But they are fighting each other for the same goal. Mr. Amba's case, what I hear, Mr. Amba's argument is really about making sure that the rights of the teachers are protected. That the casualization is a fair point. If he says that you've employed someone 2-3 years later and they're still casual staff,
that's not fair.
What he's trying to say is that makes it easy to dismiss them. Because if you're going to now let someone go, there are benefits that come to someone who has served in government. Exactly. But now, when the person is casual staff, you can dismiss them. So the fight for their rights, the sad thing is that it's affecting the right of the child to get proper education.
Exactly. Let me take Steve. Mr. Steve from Ibadan, are you there? Hello, Mr. Steve, are you there?
Sorry.
Okay, we lost that call.
So what I'm afraid of, Mariam, is that you are on probation, supposedly for 1 year, but it turned out to be 4 years. Let's assume that something happened, something went wrong with the system, and so you didn't get your, perfection of your service and all of that, and all the paperwork that you needed. But during that time, you safe. You cannot now say to the employer that, don't test me until you, what are you afraid of in taking a test? If you're going to ask your students, you know the way they used to come into secondary school and say, everybody, cut a sheet of paper, today's test. The child cannot say that, you didn't give me 2 days notice. We are not abroad, they will send you email. You will cut paper, write that test, you pass somewhere, you don't pass somewhere, you have failed that course. If teachers are allowed to do that to students, why are they afraid of a test that the government even put notice on? So this simply means that I have an excuse I can hide behind, and until that thing is done, I can't take a test. Anybody can be called to take a test. Within the civil service, for you to get promoted, there's various tests you must do. You prepare or you don't prepare. Once you don't pass, you get out of the system, even if you have been confirmed. So I'm saying, before confirmation at all, what are you afraid of in taking a test? You're a teacher, for God's sake. You can call your students that you did not even teach. Which is what happens in school.
And the NUT president are taking an example. Served as an example for the others
himself.
Well, I can see why he would not take it.
Now, if they now
I can see why he would not take that.
If they now took the test, and didn't pass or they passed, we can be cut off.
I can see why the NUT president would not take it.
Oh, we lost the call again. So I'm having network issues.
I can see why an NUT president would not take a test. He's trying to tell his people that this is not legal. This competency test is not legal. Then he now got to take the test. The whole of the people that he's trying to lead will say this person is a traitor.
That makes sense.
So 80% took the test.
The people who took the test, how many of them failed? This number of people that did not take the test will be made examples.
No, they haven't told us the people that failed or passed. Maybe they haven't.
No, they said 30,000 did the test.
No, 30,000. The 2,000 that didn't take the test are the people that they sacked.
Yes. So
do you
those
understand?
who are
So the results of the test have not come out. Maybe when the results of the test now come out, they will sack another 15,000. That's when NUT will stand up and say...
You see, YK, even if they took the test, this is me.
I think I have
if they took the test...
I think I have Farouk. Farouk, are you there? Hopefully our lines are... Okay.
So if, assuming they took the test, Kaduna State government can use that result to gauge where they know where to improve on. So let's say 30,000 took the test, 28,000 passed the test, and maybe some out of the people who didn't pass, about 40% made a pass mark, a credit mark or something like that. They can determine and say, okay, these are where we will need to improve upon. But if you decide that no test, nothing for us because of that, how do they even know where to work on?
We've all said on this table several times that for us to do things in this country, we have to have drastic measures. Sometimes you need some drastic measures because things that country we can't continue to use kids' glove. Man, don't sack them now. Let's also, if we want change, there's some things you have to just turn your face. You know what I'm doing? You are off. If you can't take the test, I'm not agreeing totally with the avenue, but I'm saying that we really need drastic measures in this country. And some of these drastic, when it happens, we begin to now fight it.
So some of the things he has asked for, that's the NUT president was saying, well, is he still the NUT president if he's been sacked?
No.
So that's, and Mr. Amba was saying that you keep them and then you train them because they had proven to be competent enough for you to have employed them, one. And then you also give an example of Lagos State of how when they did a test like that, they found those who were not competent and they trained them. So he's asking that they be trained. My own is that why did we have to get to this point where we're talking of nationwide strike? Is Kaduna State being a bit too big? I'm too big for you. Is he taking that stance? I feel that Kaduna State government can sit with the NUT and find an amicable way to resolve this, if it means giving them another chance. But if, remember, please, this test is a use of English test because we know that there are some teachers that go into schools and teach children in Hausa or Yoruba or Igbo and cannot even express themselves well. I feel that those sort of people can go, get the proper education to be proper teachers in Nigerian schools before they can come back, if that's what the test is about. But if it's just, they haven't just proved and are unable to answer some of these questions, then let them sit at this table. Give them another chance. Give them a 6-month period to brush themselves up. And then they can come back. And in the 6-month period, I'm not even saying they should be teaching in the schools. I'm just saying that they should use the period to improve themselves and then
Let me take this call from Femi. He's been holding for Femi. Are you there from Ikorodu?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I am not against the competency test, and I'll tell you why. For teachers to be employed, they must have passed the normal criteria, certification, and other things. How be it? Some of these teachers don't even have enough time to go and do any training or whatever. So I think the government, the Kaduna State government, should put up a program, maybe like a cash program where they go maybe every weekend or whatever, and set the timeline that at social time you will be appraised and do a test for which you must score a certain percentage. That is upskilling. And at the end of the day, if a certain teacher does not meet that criteria, then it can be put to say, we want to lay you off or something like that. That's my view.
Thank you very much, Femi.
So let's take some
I agree with you. I was going to say, when I was in secondary school, I grew up to hate maths. And till today, I hate maths because of the teacher I had. I thought she was in retrospect now, I know she was one of the most useless teachers to have ever, honestly. Because she would come into the class, whether you pay attention or you don't pay attention, she would just write some things on the board. She was big like this, she would just be sitting down. If you carry comic and read, she will not even answer you. And I realized that. So when my daughter started to have problems with maths, I got her a maths teacher quick, a very good maths teacher. My daughter did science. She didn't do art subjects because she understood the
way it was meant to be understood.
Maths is not, it's not a hard thing if you are taught properly. So this is maybe what, and where, me, I don't like government people, but where I must commend them is they are trying to make
things better.
The public school standard as good as or better than the private standards. And we all complain they carry their children abroad.
Let me take this call from Abdul Razak. Are you there?
Yeah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Good morning. Ooh, it's a bit muffled.
Yeah, I'm calling you.
Yes, go ahead, Abdul Razak.
Okay, please let me just try to look at some things and explain some things that have to do with civil service. The civil service is not like the private sector where you just employ somebody and the next minute just start that person. But when you employ the person, you will have done.
Oh my God, Abdul Razak, it's so hard to hear. Let me give an example of. Now I'm doing marketing. Let me give an example of a typical class, based on how mathematics that you said. That's what made me remember. So a teacher is told, based on the tablet that is given to her, that, okay, for tomorrow's class, bring 1 banana, bring a ruler, bring this, because they want you to use it to describe something for the teachers. Initially, the teachers want to like buying banana. But when they realize that their head teacher is also aware that you are supposed to bring a banana to school tomorrow, they have to. Because she also has a tablet that is telling her what your teacher should have for tomorrow's class. Yes. Teachers come in, they come with that with all the items. Then there are ways the classrooms are arranged in the same way where each row is competing against the next row. So when you make noise in your row, you get a strike. You know, like the kids are constantly keeping each other quiet because they know that this is our row. You know, they make the class so active. When they are sleeping, they wake up. There are songs you can sing to get the kids to start singing in class and to get them to go back. And they all know what those animals are used. You bring pictures. They guide you. That's what the tablet does in the Lagos State public school. So the point is that this government, Kaduna State, I'm just telling you, I'm trying to paint a picture. The potential the Kaduna State government is trying to do. I've left Lagos State. I'm saying now, I understand that this energy is coming because I've seen a school in Lagos transform. So I'm saying the Kaduna State government is trying really hard to bring the standard up.
Let's just assume that that's what they're trying to do, because we still don't have the side of the Kaduna State government and their vision well, clearly. But why can't you just open the kind of one when she talked about her maths teachers? And I was talking about the language teachers all my life, plus maths, but I won't go to maths today. I don't know whether they teach those language teachers teaching Yoruba and Igbo to come and curse people's children in school. Wow. That's a different angle. No. This is a different matter.
No, we're talking.
That's why some of us will not be able to speak language. I remember that I had to read. I didn't understand my Alawiye on my own to perfect my Yoruba over time. We need to have teachers who know what it is to, be friendly. And, bring a child. The child is having difficulty, and whoever taught me music.
Let me pause you for a second. Let me take this call. He's been holding. Good morning. Hello. I have a caller. Good morning. Are you there? Let's bring our callers and let's get a few comments on social media. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I want to the institution on ground. Hello?
Yes, you're live. Go ahead, Mr. Humble.
Okay, institution on ground. I think it's commendable for the state government to want to improve the educational sector, because really, I'm into this same business of teaching, and I know what.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Humble. I do apologize. The phone lines are really, really bad. Let's have your comments on social media.
Maybe it's the rain that is.
The rain is not humble enough.
Our Hassan says, well, the Kaduna State government is not investing in education like Lagos State government. Williams Olajumoke said, please, did I just hear the NUT president say that exam is not a judge of competency? How come you judge students based on exams? I stay in Kaduna, and trust me, you don't want to see your child in the public schools here. They can't even speak proper English. Well, I don't agree on the English standard test. Abdurrahman Said said, Mr. Amba and the Kaduna State teachers should have at the back of their minds that what they learned as teachers is very different from what they would teach their students. To me, the test should be every year or every term. Andrew sometimes thinks that Mr. Amba was not calm. He doesn't listen. Festus Akimboyewa says, our teachers must embrace personal development if they're interested in having the skills.
But let's not forget that Mr. Amba reminded us that they supported the Kaduna State government in 2018. So it's not as if they're against competency tests. They feel like there's a reason behind it, which is the casualization they're talking about. And they also feel that even if you're going to do a competency test, don't do it to sack him. Do it to review, to help to understand the gaps identified. So he has a point. He has a point. I know it's easy for us to just say, how can you be against it? But he has a cogent point of, let us not sack them, because we need teachers. I know whereby
people, Nigerians to be employed.
We have issues where maths and English teachers are the easiest to get. Teachers for other subjects, science is difficult. I know. History. I know. Political science. There's so many subjects that are so difficult to get teachers for.
The PAMSEC of the school that the body that the ministry that employs teachers, and they were not looking for English and that's all. They were looking for other
CRK,
subjects,
IRK, there's so many biology, chemistry. God bless you. So we don't have teachers. So I can understand where NUC is saying, don't sack, we don't have enough. I know that here they try to recruit at least 2,000 every year. It's not easy getting those kind of teachers. Nobody wants to teach biology and chemistry anymore.
I totally agree. Instead of sacking, you should train them But
because they have interest in teaching, so let's not lose them. So that's a valid point. So I guess we need to invite the Kaduna State government.
I will not write this.
Okay, so on YouTube they're arguing about whether Pluto is a planet or.
Can you start this matter?
I don't know.
I heard it was not.
It's not.
Some of my children told me some that were stars are not planets.
So let me get a comment.
People are commenting on the NUT president. He said, is this man?
Go ahead, Waike.
Is this man a real teacher? His communication skill is low. Not a good communicator, not a good listener. Bad combination for teaching. That's from Oladidi.
So I have a comment from Comrade Adeshino, the chairman Lagos chapter of the NUT. And he's saying that let us stop sounding academicals. The test should not be SAC, rather needs assessment. So we've agreed with you. Yes, as I said, we spoke earlier saying we agree that you shouldn't sack the teachers. We understand it should be an assessment because we need teachers, whether we like it or not. So if there are 2,700 plus, I say, I want to teach, but I'm only got 20%, then take them back to retrain them and teach them.
But if you take the test, they will be able to tell who and what areas of level they need to develop you on.
But if you listen to Mr. Amba, he says we don't have a problem with the test. We even supported government the first time around. But we now realize that in the 3 to 4 years since the first test, you have not properly employed these teachers. So in protest to that, that's why they didn't write that test, not because they don't want to.
Exactly. So the arguments both. We have to run right here. We have to wrap up. We have to run up. The arguments both ways. That's all we can take on the show, ladies. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye.